Patty something. And she's like, what did Judy say? And I'm like, oh, you got something on your face right here. And I go, what is it? And she goes, I don't know, but you spit it on me. I'll never forget it. I mean, I was in the shower this morning, still cracking up. I mean, I don't know, but you spit it on me. It was like this big. So it was either a hot dog or you know. So anyway, I started Pampered Chef about 10 and a half years ago. So I started to earn a trip. I know, Miriam, we're very close in consultant members, if you remember. And so I started to earn a trip to Disney because I couldn't afford it, you know, with 2 kids at the time. Then I had 3 kids within that mix. And I found out that I was very goal-driven, never realized that. I had after my parents got divorced, had a very rough childhood. I was a lot like, I'm sorry, tell me your name again. Reagan. I was told I was not going to amount to much, that I needed to abort my son, and all kinds of things. So those kind of things drove me, but at the time, I didn't really know it. So when I started Pampered Chef, I realized that I was a goal chaser, a carrot chaser, and all those kind of things. And so it would be hard, like when I had my 3rd child in there, I was an advanced director already, and so it was hard for me to like take the back seat and not be a high seller and stuff like that. So I know it was the Lord really molding me, you know, to be where I'm at in my life today. And so I've always been, you know, I can get along in a crowd, but I just didn't know so many different types of personalities. One of the things that I had done was I promoted to senior director pretty quick with that new career plan back in the day when they finally changed it. Like a year later, less than a year later, I had promoted to exec. Okay, so I promoted a lot of people, but in that time, it wasn't that I was going after a title until I realized I was close enough. I was just about helping others. I am inspired by seeing others find success in themselves and find belief and confidence. And I just love to love people, and I love to see them enjoy life. So I had promoted to exec, and I was pretty young in the company. I had been it was 6 years I was in the company, and I promoted to exec director. But at that time, it was that career plan that you could quickly lose things. And I think we lost exec title after 2 years by $150. And, you know, I've always been telling my team, you know, you need to go, don't chase after a title or an award. Be you, and the rest will come. So it was kind of hard because I'm coaching that, but feeling that you're not supposed to go backwards in life. You know, we're told to go forward. So having a less title when you show up somewhere, and then going from exec to senior to advanced to back to advanced, you know. And then I realized, you know, I don't care, because I'm not calling somebody and telling them they have to turn in something, because it's their business, and that's what I coach on. And so I just kept going through the motions. It was a paycheck. My kids are very involved. They're all 5 years apart. My son right now is playing baseball to hopefully be committed by the beginning of the year to a D1 school, so I've been traveling with him. And my daughter's in a very competitive volleyball league. And I've coached my little one in softball and All-Stars. So I am very busy, but I've always had my Pampered Chef schedule no matter what. And I love it. But I was kind of just going through the motions, you know. And then last year at Leadership, September of 2013, you know, how many of you were there? Okay, you know when the lights went down and it got real dark at the end, and, you know, usually they're about to give away a car or something. And some kind of motivational thing to shoot you out the door, and they're like, serious, Joe? And that's it. Goodbye. I'm like, you know, oh. But Doris said, you know, we have the best company to work for in the whole direct sales business. And what are we doing? You know, what's everybody doing? And I was like, really? What are we doing? What am I doing? You know, so I was like, I need to find that love that I had again, because I was just kind of going through the motions. I love Pampered Chef so much. With all the changes, I didn't question it. I just went along with it and coached it, even though I'm very easy. Like, I don't read into stuff because it would confuse me. Lots of big words and that stuff. So I just went along with it. So I came home and I was I need to, where do I need to start? I just kind of was going through the motions, right? So Patty had called one day. She's like, what are you doing? And I said, I have a board, because I had an executive dream board, you know, up on the thing wall, and when I promoted to exec, I took it down, and then all of a sudden we started going down. So I said, well, I think I'm trying to do an exec board, but I don't even know. I don't really want to be an executive. I mean, I do, but I don't want the title. I just want what I had back. Like I had lost about 6 or 7 directors to, you know, life. They had other things come up, or lost the title or whatever. So I had heard Becky, one of my directors, Becky Skank, say, well, when Jennifer promoted to executive director, we really didn't have anything else to kind of work towards anymore. And I thought, oh my God, other people are like relying on me. I guess, you know, it is, other people are sharing in your joy too. So, and so Patty's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. I have this executive board, but I don't know. I said, I still need to earn Punta Cana, but I haven't even earned San Diego yet. And this is November 1st. And she's like, I said, I know I can earn Punta Cana, but I don't want to work that hard. And she's like, well, put your board away and do it. And all I needed to hear was her say that. Like, I knew I could do it, and I didn't want to really work that hard, but I was 27,000 points away from Punta Cana November 1st. I hadn't even earned San Diego. I was like, okay, so my highest month was $8,800, I think. I don't work too hard. And I mean, that is a very great month. But what I'm saying is, like, my highest ever is these people's normal, okay? And so I was like, all right, well, what do I need to do? So I got on the phone, I get the shows going, and I thought, okay, this is where it's going to start, right? So November, $10,152, okay? And I have a recruit qualified. I'm like, oh, that's 13,000 points, woohoo! So I'm going into December, which normally we only have 2 weeks left, right? Before everybody has to be turned in for Christmas and la la la. And so I was like, okay, so what am I going to do? So like December 7th, I have a show. And it's a girl I had met, Yvette, 2 years before I did a bridal shower for her. The next day I did the next year I did a cooking show when she moved into her house. And then her mom booked a show. So I've known her for about 1.5 years, 2 years, and her mom just wanted the deep cover baker. She'd been coming to the show and wanting this thing, and I'm like, just, you know, why don't you just buy it? She's like, I'll just have a show and get it for free. I said, okay, so we're making the chicken bruschetta pasta, and I show up, and there's 4 little kids there at the door, and they're like, hi, and I said, oh, hey, and I'm looking around for their mom, like for the guest, the mom or whatever, and I said, hey, Sylvia. She said, they're going to help you get your stuff from the car, and I said, oh, okay. So they come helping me come in and stuff, so we're chatting, and I'm like, so how are you expecting? And she's like, well, my neighbor's supposed to be coming, and my daughter, Bet's coming, and, you know, she goes through some other things, and she just hands me some shrimp, and I said, oh, okay. She's like, well, I hope that's okay. I don't have the chicken, I have shrimp. I said, sure, no problem. So I just thinking, oh, great, because I don't cook much, so I'm going, oh, what am I going to do with this chicken? Or the shrimp instead of chicken, so I just throw it in the microwave, or deep cover bacon, throw it in the microwave. And so I said, well, where's your mom? Is she coming? And they said, well, Sylvia is my mom. And I looked at Sylvia and I go, because Yvette is my age, her daughter. So I was confused. I go, yeah, I didn't know you had 4 little kids. And she goes, well, I was only supposed to have them for 6 weeks, but I've had them for 4 years. And I was like, oh, okay. And, you know, I keep going through my stuff. And the oldest one is 12. It was 12-year-old, 10-year-old, 8-year-old, and a 4-year-old little boy. And they were all girls and a little boy. So the Kiana, the older one, was following me around the kitchen the whole time. And I was talking to her, you know, and nobody really is showing up but the daughter, Yvette, comes, right? And then a couple come, and they kind of sit down, but then they're kind of going in and out, and I'm like, so are we waiting for them to get started? And they're like, oh no, they're taking showers. And I'm like, okay. And so I was like, just gonna go. I mean, I've had weirder shows, so I was just like, I'll just keep going. So as we're going through the show, and I'm talking about the deep covered baker, the guy that's there is standing there. He's like, I would love one of those. And the Yvette goes, well, you would have to have running water and electricity. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm so confused. So I go through the whole show. And I think there was 1 or 2 people there. The kids were there. So I get out the deep cover baker and I serve them, and we're sitting down. And Kiana kept taking my stuff and taking it to the kitchen sink to wash. I'm like, honey, you don't have to do that. She's like, no, I don't mind. She's like, I said, I have a 12-year-old. I said, you're so small compared to my 12-year-old. She's so big, like tall. And so we were talking about that. She's like, oh, does your daughter have to wear uniforms in school? We just start talking, right? Building relationships. And she's like, oh, I have to wear a uniform to school, and I only have one pair of pants. And I was like, oh, you can only wear pants? And she goes, no, I only have one pair of pants. And I was like, oh. I was like caught off guard. And then she said, well, yeah, well, my mom said, well, Miss Sylvia said that when we get more money, I can get pants. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I was supposed to go to my daughter's volleyball banquet. It's for the family or whatever that night. Or no, it was a volleyball night with the family or whatever. So I just texted my husband and I told him I'm not coming. I was taking this girl shopping. And so it was like 10 o'clock by this time because I had a show earlier that day and then this one. So I leave that show at $67. And I didn't have a heart to tell her, like, it's not even enough to get your deep cover baker for free. But can I just take her shopping? Walmart, Ross, TJ Maxx, that stuff's open. And it was Christmas time, so we went out and we're just hanging out talking and, just talking. Me and this little girl, and then, it comes out that she only has like one bra, one pair of socks, stuff. So I'm like, we're shopping. So I am exhausted by this time, but we're getting ready to check out and go back home. And I said, hey, go grab me a candy bar and a Coke. And grab you one too. And she's like, okay. So I'm not even paid for it yet. I'm like eating the candy bar. And I look at her, she's not open. I go, are you not gonna eat your candy bar? And she goes, I'm gonna save it for school on Monday because I never have a snack. And I was like, here, have mine. Have another one, So, and she goes, is this why you do what you do? And I looked at her and I go, well, what do you mean? And she goes, do you go into people's homes and help them all the time? And I just got so choked up. I was like, yeah, but you're a little special. I don't take everybody shopping like this. And she goes, I want to be just like you when I grow up. And I'm like, let's go. I'm kind of. So I get in the car and she said, that wasn't my dad that was there. And I go, oh, it wasn't? And she said, no, that's my mom's boyfriend. That is my mom, but Ruby and Mary have the same dad, but Lucky has a different dad. That was his dad, and I don't know who my dad is. And I said, well, you don't have to because we have a Heavenly Father, but you also have people here on earth that are, lifting you up. And I thought, okay, I've been wanting to adopt a family for Christmas, but my kids don't appreciate when we go buy gifts and then we send them off because they don't get to see it. And I was uncomfortable going to Houston to a house that I don't know, so I thought, this is it. So I go in and I said to Sylvia and her husband, and he doesn't speak any English, and I said, Sylvia, I don't want to offend you in any way. I know that you guys have so much, you give what you can to them, but I really feel that I would love to adopt your family for Christmas. And she just started crying. She said, you have no idea, we won't have Christmas. And so it's December 7th. I'm like, okay. So I don't think anything about the trip. I'm on my way home, I'm crying uncontrollably because I remember being a 12-year-old scared girl. And I was thinking, holy cow. But let me tell you the kind of environment they live in. She's telling me that Mary Jane, the 8-year-old, is named after her mom's favorite drug. And Lucky Kane is the second favorite drug. And that's their names they get to go through life with. And I'm just, okay. So I called them the next day, they gave me their Christmas list, and I go to my show that day. I still have, a ton of points to go. My show that night I leave is $2,500. My next show the next day is $2,000. My next show the next day is $2,000. I had one $2,000 show in 10 years, and I think I had 7 or 8, just going crazy, and I was like, thank you, Jesus, because December 16th, I had 28,000 incentive points, and I had enough for a paycheck to pay for their family and my family's Christmas because of the Pampered Chef. And, my middle girl and her friend were helping me wrap presents, and they're like, why do they only have one pair of jeans? And I'm like, because they don't have the money to get them. And the friend goes, well, why don't you give her a credit card? And I'm like, they ask for socks. socks and chapstick for Christmas, and those are their stocking stuffers. And I just thought how awesome my life has been since the Pampered Chef, and how when I think, oh my God, I don't have time to do a show, my kids are all over the place. I'm giving a show or a recruit or whatever, and the Lord continues to bless me. So, with all that sales, it's approaching the end of Excellence Awards, right? And okay, so May 30th, I turned in all my sales to earn Excellence Awards. And so I could help my team on May 31st. And I look at Facebook, and one of my really good friends that's an old consultant has lost her baby. And my favorite picture of them, I was like, I'm going to post it and ask for prayer, but I don't want to upset her. But I have to. So I posted it and asked for prayer. And a friend of mine replies, "What she passed away from?" I said, "Sis, I didn't want to say it because I knew it's not my place, but I knew this person needed to hear it. Because 2.5 years ago, we went through the same thing with her. And they both happened to be Pampered Chef consultants." And I thought, okay, Lord, I know that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So I go check my awards thing, and it says I still need $374. It's the 31st of May, and I'm like, oh, they just haven't updated their reports. I didn't think anything of it. June 1st, I open, I'm like, still submitting $374. I'm like, this is the craziest new system. It just does not update ever. And so I call home office, and I'm like, look, the system's wrong. Somebody needs to update it. I needed $1,600 in sales left to turn in, and I turned in $1,700 to earn Excellence Awards. It's telling me I have $374. And she said, you turned in $1,700. And I said, I know. I had $400 in, and I needed an additional $1,600. And as soon as I'm saying it, I'm like, oh my God, I shorted it. I shorted it. I had a show to turn in, but I was holding it for June, and I shorted it. $374. I'm like, how did I do that? I mean, I was freaking out, man. I'm just like, I can't believe I just did that. I can't believe I just did that. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm so mad. I'm calling Phil. I'm just freaking out. I'm texting Tracy. I'm like, I'm so mad. And then right then, a message comes up and says, from Facebook, Jen, I am lying awake once again, not being able to shut my mind off, but I wanted to sincerely thank you for the precious words of encouragement and prayer. This being the 4th week since losing our Kylie. The rest of the world is whizzing on, and I still feel frozen in time, afraid to move on without her. But in this moment, I received a second amazing private message from your friend, Dudley. Wow. Also lost her daughter, Sydney, to SIDS. I have never known personally anyone who's lost a child to SIDS. She has shared her heart with such abandonment with me that I am in an odd way comforted by another mom across the country who, understanding the heart-wrenching pains I'm experiencing, hearing her putting my emotions and thoughts into words is a bit of a relief to me. On your page, thank you for sharing your story on your page, or our story on your page, and by way of connecting us like this. This is just what I needed at this point in my grief. I love you for showing me so much love. And I was crying over $374. And I thought, how selfish of me. I'm Coach did not, just do your best and that's enough. And my poor friends are never experiencing something that I can't even grasp. But I thank the Lord for Pampered Chef because Deb Lee helped Katie Robinson so much that day. And I could never replace how I've helped these people if it weren't for Pampered Chef. And so I tell my team, don't get stuck on a title or an award. When you're working from your heart and your relationship building, the focus of a title and award will never be a problem. It comes because you are growing by leaps and bounds. And they just come and come because you have something that they want part of. And so tomorrow is going to be very bittersweet for me. As you all walk by smiling with your flash, that's okay. I'll be holding up in the corner, maybe pushing, shaking. But I want you to know, because I know there's so many people that don't get recognition up at front or whatever, and they're completely okay with that. Because you work, as long as you're doing what it is that you can, and you know that you're capable of, and not letting guilt get in your mind, because guilt is a lie, then you're going to always accomplish what you have your heart out to do. And mine is always finding love and seeing somebody's heart. So.